Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be a little bit different and I'm going to be doing a tag video, and this tag is called the Ride and Die makeup tag. Now this makeup tag was created by Jacqueline Hill originally, and I've been watching TT Foundra's videos, which if you don't follow I would have a channel link for you down below because she is absolutely amazing and I've been following her for a while. And this tag I've been watching, and I actually seen quite a few YouTubers do this video as well, so I figured I'll do one sort of similar and kind of tell you guys my favorite holy grail makeup products that I reach for on a daily basis. And I did it quite old school and I did write everything down and kind of put everything in front of me in order. So these are some products that I would reach for and probably would recommend if I only have to choose one product and I know which exact one I have as well. So some products, if you guys have been following my channel for a while, might not come as a surprise to you guys because I do absolutely love these products and I have repurchased quite a few products in the past as well. So without me waffling on too much, let's get started. So the first category we want to talk about is my favorite ever primer. Now this was quite hard because I do alternate between a few primers, but my ultimate favorite primer is this one from By Terry, and this is the By Terry Terribly Don Feliz primer. Now I actually had this primer for about a year now. I actually featured this in my August favorites, which if you guys haven't seen I would link for you down below as well. But this is probably one of my favorite primers because not only does it last forever, and like I said I have had it for over a year and I used about a quarter of it. You do need about a 5p piece every time you use it. It works very well. It holds my makeup in place better than any of my primers I ever used, and I do like to apply my makeup quite early in the morning and I do wear my makeup maybe about 12 to 14 hours a day, so it is quite important for me to look for a good primer that would last forever and ever, and this is definitely one of those products that tick the boxes for me. So it is a pricey product, but if I do ever run out I probably would run out and get another one as well. So this is from By Terry. The next category is my favourite foundation. Now again this was really hard because I do alternate between quite a lot of different foundations and I do have a lot I like to try out and kind of test every now and again, but my ultimate favourite one that I have been using and reaching for non-stop is this one by Dior, and this is the Dior Nude Air Serum Detente Foundation. Now this was another purchase I did last year, and you'd be surprised how little you need with the serum foundation. I'm in a shading number 020, which is a perfect match for me, and I really like this because it comes with a really lovely pipette applicator, and I like to use a big Sephora Pro brush to apply this. I would have the exact brush link for you down below, but that brush and this foundation just works like a dream because it is amazing. I haven't actually got this foundation on today. I actually got a Laura Mercier Candle Glow or Candle Light foundation, but this one is probably my day-to-day work foundation. It is more of a medium to full coverage and it definitely lasts all day for me. So for me this has definitely been my holy grail foundation. I absolutely love it, and I have only used about half a bottle. I am trying to use up all my foundations before picking up anything new, but this is definitely something I would definitely recommend trying out if you are after a new foundation as well. So this is from Dior. The next category is my favourite concealer, and this is quite an easy one because I don't really change around my concealers very often. I have one for my under eyes and I usually have one for my blemishes, and this one I've been using forever, and this is from By Terry again, and it's the Don Feliz concealer in the shade number 4 Medium Peach. Now I had this for a while. I actually gone to the point where I'm scraping the edge off because I'm literally finishing it off, but I actually recently been to Space 10K and I completely forgot to pick one up, but which I would order online in a couple of days anyway. But this is probably one of my favourite concealers, mainly because it has a doe foot applicator, and these are my favourite type of concealers. And I don't really like concealers that you actually have to dip your finger in because I just find it quite unhygienic, even though it's only me using my own makeup products. But I prefer a doe foot applicator. I usually use one of these and use a beauty blender, blend everything out, and it just works a dream. This works really well on my under eyes and also works really well on the blemishes. If it's really intense, like big blemishes, it doesn't really work, but I would have to get my Kevyn Aucoin Sensual Skin Enhancer to do that. But this works day to day really well on some light blemishes or just under eye to brighten anything and cover anything you need covering. So overall I definitely would recommend this concealer, and this has definitely been my ride or die concealer as well. So this one's from By Terry. Moving on to the next category, which is my favourite powder, and this goes to my favorite ever powder, and this is from Chanel, and it's the Chanel Poudre Universal Natural Finish Loose Powder. Now I got the shade in numbers 20 in clear, which is like a translucent, but it's got a little bit of a yellowy tint which suits my complexion really well, and I do reach for this most days. Some days if I'm in a rush I usually just go ahead and powder when I'm en route to work, but day to day this is a really nice powder to use with a dual fiber brush, or sometimes I do actually use the puff on there, and I just take a little bit and then just pat it on, and it just works really well in setting your makeup, especially my under eyes. I like to use this with a beauty blender, and it just works really well in setting your under eye makeup. But the next category, which is my favourite under eye powder, I will talk about that, but sometimes if I'm short in the morning for time, I usually just go ahead and use this as a beauty blender and just pop it all over, and it just works really well in setting your makeup in place, and I don't have to worry about my makeup falling apart during lunchtime as well. So this is my favourite holy grail ride or die powder. The next category, as we said earlier, is my favourite under eye concealer. Now I don't do this every day, I only do this when I have a bit more time or I feel like being a little bit more fancy with my makeup, and this is my favourite under eye concealer. Now this is the Laura Mercier Secret Brightening Powder. Again, very small pot, but I have had it for about a year now, and it works a dream in brightening up the under eye. I only ever use it when I don't have enough sleep or when I'm feeling a little bit tired, and it just works really well because it has that little shimmer particles in there, and I just use a flat brush and just pat it in on the inner corners, and it just works really well in setting my makeup and just makes you look like you slept for 8 hours when you really haven't. So this works really well. I do really like this, and it's definitely one of my go-to products when I haven't had enough sleep as well. So this is from Laura Mercier. The next category we are talking about is my favourite bronzer. Now this was quite hard because I do switch around between a few bronzers, but my ultimate favourite bronzer that I always reach for and I always have in my drawer, this is from Marc Jacobs, and it's the Marc Jacobs Omega Bronzer in 102 Tantric. Now I had this for a very long time, maybe about 2 years now. I remember actually picking this up from London, but it is this huge massive bronzer, and I have taken so long to use it up. I don't use it every day, but if I'm feeling a little bit pasty or if my foundation is a little bit too light for me, I always go ahead and use this just to make things a little bit warmer and give myself more of a sun-kissed glow, which I really enjoy at the moment. And yeah, this bronzer is really nice. It's not too muddy, and it just applies really well. It's not powdery at all. It doesn't feel very chalky, and it is quite natural if you go quite light-handed. I do find this is quite a pigmented bronzer, so if you do go quite heavy-handed you can look a little bit muddy, but I don't find that if I just use a really little amount, and it just works really well in brightening up my complexion and giving my complexion a little bit of a glow and more of a sun-kissed bronzy glow as well. So this is from Marc Jacobs. Moving on to the next category, which is my favourite blusher, which is probably one of my favourite categories because I do really like buying new blushes all the time. I really like that perk on my cheeks, and it just changes everything. I think it just finishes off an outfit, and this is definitely something I do before I put my lipstick on. I'm ready to go out the house. I always remember to put a bit of blusher just to brighten up my cheeks a little bit, and my favourite blushes are these Hourglass Ambient Lighting blushes. Now I have this palette which is, I think it was limited edition, so this is, I picked it up last year, I think it's last year, it must have been last year I picked it up because they haven't launched very long. So it comes with 3 shades, and I don't use the dark one that often. I only use these two very much so because I tend to mix these two together and they just create a really nice glow. And these blushes also have a little bit of highlighter in it, which is the Ambient Lighting powders, which I will talk about in a minute because they are my favourite, and it's almost like a 2-in-1, and it just gives your cheeks a really nice healthy flusher colour, and I just really like it. So I got this one, and then the other one I have is called Diffuse Heat, which is something I reach for when I can't find the other one as well. So this is what it looks like, and I do have these scattered around. I do have about 3 or 4 of these, and I do really like these. They are very pigmented, and a little goes a long way with these blushes as well. So really like these, and these are definitely my ride or die blushes as well. So these are from Hourglass. Moving on to the next category is favourite highlighters, and this goes without say, my Hourglass Ambient Lighting palette, and I use this pretty much every day. I've got it on today, and I usually just go ahead and mix all three shades. The darker shade I usually use as a bronzer, and then the lighter two shades I just mix with a powder brush, and I just apply it on my cheekbones, and it just gives such a beautiful sort of glowy consistency, and it just leaves your skin feeling really dewy, very fresh, but not greasy at all, which I really like. And some days when your foundation is a little bit too flat, then you can use this to really brighten up your complexion, and I find that it just changes everything. And you can use this as single eyeshadows, which I have done before, and it just works really well if you are trying to pack light and you don't want to pack too much makeup products as well. So this is from Hourglass. The next category is favourite mascara. Now this was pretty hard because I do have one mascara that I use pretty much quite consistently, and then the other one from the top of my head is probably the Makeup Forever Smoky Lash, which I really like, but I haven't had that for quite a long time. I've been going through my mascaras pretty frequently because I don't really want to keep my old mascara, so I've just been trying to use everything up. But my Ride or Die mascara at the moment is from Tom Ford, and this is the Tom Ford Extreme Mascara. Now I actually have this mascara on my lashes today, and I have been wearing it pretty much for the past 2 weeks, and it just works really well in holding a curl. And even if I put my makeup on at 8 o'clock in the morning, you can still see it at 8 o'clock in the night. It's not budged anywhere, it still holds a curl, which is very important to me because my lashes are actually naturally quite long, so I don't really need a lot of length, but I need a lot of volume in my mascara, and this one definitely delivers. And I just really like the packaging for Tom Ford. I think it's so luxurious, and the actual wand itself is just a really chubby wand, which I really like, and this definitely holds a curl very well, and it just provides a lot of volume, which I really enjoy as well. So this has definitely been my Ride or Die mascara, and this one is from Tom Ford. Moving on to the next category, which is probably the hardest category, which is my favourite eyeshadow palette. Now my favourite eyeshadow palettes, I actually picked two because I just could not narrow it down, and the first one I picked is from Charlotte Tilbury, and this is the Charlotte Tilbury luxury palette in Dolce Vita. And Dolce Vita is probably one of my favourite shades because I do go for this quad if I don't know what to wear, or if I just want a simple makeup look, if I want a smoky eye. It's probably one of my go-to palettes, and it has a really nice highlighter shade, it has a really nice reddy rusty shade, it has a shimmer shade, and also has a really nice dark brown shade, which I do reach for. And this palette is just one of those palettes that just works really well. I think a lot of girls have this palette and it just works different for everyone. Like I have quite dark complexions and it definitely works really well for me, or if you're blonde, this definitely works really well. And the good things about these palettes are you can actually smoke it up if you are going from day to night, and usually I do just take this out with me if I'm just going out to touch up, because it is quite a dinky palette to pop in your clutch as well. So this is from Charlotte Tilbury. The next palette that I want to talk about that I absolutely love and I do reach for pretty much quite consistently as well, and this is from Lorac, and it's my Lorac Pro palette. Now I got this from America maybe about a year or maybe 2 years ago now, but I reach for it non-stop, and I'm not really a huge fan of the packaging. I don't really like the cardboard packaging, but I don't really take my makeup out with me, so that's not really a problem. But I love all the shades in there, and they just look really nice, and they actually work really well. They're very pigmented, and my favourite shades are It Bronze, Pewter, Gold. I reach for Taupe and Mauve and Sable a lot, and I use Espresso usually on a lash line, and they just all work really well. They're very pigmented. I don't really reach for the blue or the purple very often, but this side of the palette I definitely reach for a lot, and I like the combination of the matte on top and the shimmer on the bottom. I think it definitely works really well, and it just definitely works for a lot of complexions as well. So overall, this is probably my second Ride or Die makeup product if I don't have any more makeup items and I only have this. I would definitely recommend it as well. So this is from Lorac. Next category we want to talk about is my favourite lipstick, which I'm not gonna lie, I'm a lipstick gal. I love applying a lipstick, and I think it finishes off a look, and it can change your look if you wear a bold lip or if you wear a nude lip like I am today. And the one I'm wearing today is from Charlotte Tilbury, of course, and these are the Charlotte Tilbury Matte Revolution lipsticks, which is my ride or die lipsticks because they are just phenomenal. And I got about 6 or 7 of these because I just keep buying them. I love the shades and I just love the packaging. So the one I've got is actually called Very Victoria, which is a really lovely, beautiful nudie colour and just looks a little bit like this. I'm sure you all heard of me talk about the Matte Revolution lipsticks before because they are just amazing. They're one of my favourite formulas. They're not very drying at all. They're very long lasting and I just really like it. So this is Very Victoria, and then the other 2 or the other 6 I got, I only got 3 to show you guys, is Bond Girl, which is another one of my favourite, and Bond Girl is just a really nice go-to for a little bit of colour. And then the other one I have is, I think it's called Love Liberty, which is more of a wintry shade for me, and this just adds a little bit of sort of dark vampy vibe to it, and I usually go for this during the winter time, and this is just such a beautiful shade as well. So overall, these are definitely my favourite ride or die lipstick, and I would recommend it to anyone that is looking for a high-end lipstick as well. So these are from Charlotte Tilbury. The last couple of categories I want to talk about, there's one with a favourite lip gloss, but I don't really wear lip gloss, so I'm just going to skip that category. And then the next category I want to talk about is my favourite setting spray. And to be honest guys, I don't really use a setting spray. I do use my Urban Decay All Nighter every now and again if I do remember, but day to day I do really like using the Caudalie Beauty Elixir, which I have been using for years, and it's not really a setting spray, but it does work really well as a setting spray for me personally. And I tend to put this in my bag, and then sometimes in the lunchtime I do like to spray this on just to freshen up my makeup a little bit, but it doesn't really affect your makeup. So I do really like this, and I really like the minty smell of it. I think it's very refreshing, and yeah, do really like this, and it's very affordable too. So this is from Caudalie. The last category I want to talk about is my favourite perfume, and I love perfumes, but I only have a few that I reach for pretty much on a daily basis. And the first one I want to talk about is this one from Tom Ford, and this is the Tom Ford Noir Parfum. Now this is one of my go-to sexy perfumes, and every time I wear this perfume I do get a lot of compliments on it, and it's probably one of my favourite confident perfume to make me feel better, to make me feel more confident, and it just smells really dark. It's got that vanilla, it's got that cedar wood in there, and it's just quite a warming scent as well. If you like your warmy sort of fragrance scents, then I definitely recommend checking this one out. But Tom Ford in general probably does the favourite and my favourite scents as well. I do like some of his private blends as well, which I do intend on getting some, but these are just some amazing fragrances as well. So this one's from Tom Ford. And then the final one I want to talk about, which I haven't got in hand but I am going to repurchase it, is my Jo Malone Peony and Blush Suede Cologne, which is probably the best scent ever because it smells amazing, and I just would repurchase it over and over again. I have been through about 2 or 3 bottles in the past, and I am waiting to pick up another one when I'm next in town as well. So the other one I really like is the Jo Malone Peony and Blush Suede Cologne. So yeah, that would do for my ride or die makeup tag. Thank you very much for watching, and I feel like this is a bit of a rambly video, but I'm looking at the timer now, it's about 18 minutes long, so I do apologise for me rambling on, and I hope you all enjoyed this video. Please give it a huge thumbs up if you did enjoy it, and make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss out on any of my videos, and I would have my latest video link for you down below, and I shall see you next week for a brand new video. Bye guys!